have an affliction. Some might call it an addiction. I prefer the term predilection, and that is that I cannot walk past a lamp that I see on the street that is out for collection because it's broken. I can't help but pick it up and take it home and want to try and fix it. You have seen this happen in Steph vs. Lamp round 1, where I fixed these 2 lamps. For round 2, we're going to do double the lamp. First round was 2 lamps. This is going to be 2 different kinds of lamps. First one is this tall wooden guy with a red shade currently behind me. The other one is a metal one that I picked up, which is really cool, that I promised that I would fix for my husband. Have I done either of them? No. Have I made starts on both of them? Yes. Am I close to finishing either of them? Not really. I feel like I need to get this done. So yeah, let's do it. As with anything on this channel, if it doesn't start with a trip to IKEA, then it probably starts with a trip to Bunnings. I decided to take myself to the farm for the night just to chill out and hopefully fix a lamp. This was a few months ago before summer really kicked off, so I figured it was my last chance to have a cozy fire and spend some time with myself. I picked up this lamp ages ago and I love it because it's solid and it has some characterful features, but boy is she rusty. So I picked up some Rust Buster from Bunnings because it was near the metal paint section and it sounded like the sort of thing that I needed to get some rust off before I was going to paint this guy. I followed the instructions to basically just schlep it on and let the solvent do what it needed to do. And then I also used some of the solvent to clean up the cable, which worked out really nicely. I'm going to let this sit until the morning and then I'll see how it is. Believe it or not, I didn't actually go and Google it. I didn't look up a video or anything how to do this. Oh, now it's raining. So I honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know what I'm doing and I did not prepare myself well enough for this task. Yeah, I'm going to go inside, make a fire and Google it. It's cold. It's really cold. It's like 10 degrees or something. I know that might not be very cold for Americans, but it's cold for Australians in the end of September. Brr. Especially after we had such nice weather. It's a bit of a bummer. Oh well. Let's make a fire. Okay, moving on to the other lamp that I collected a couple of months ago. The first thing that I did was to test that the cable wasn't dead. So even though the shade was just resting on a pile of duct tape, the light still works. So that was a positive sign to begin with. After peeling away all of this duct tape that had been put around the fitting, I discovered that the probable reason that this lamp had been put out on the street to be collected in the junk pile was because this part had actually cracked and this tape was literally holding the whole thing together and also giving the lampshade something to sit on. A little over 10 years ago when I moved to Canberra, my favourite ever lamp that I inherited from my great aunt and uncle got damaged. And I was devastated when it happened, but then I realised that it's possible to replace this part that holds the light bulb into the lamp. And so I did that and I was very proud of myself. And so the reason that I picked up this lamp is that I figured I could probably do the same. This part looked like it would screw off, but it turns out that it had been glued onto the threaded rod that runs through the main part of the lamp. So I used my pliers and a little bit of gusto to twist it off. Usually with these parts you can unscrew these little screws to get the wires out, but I couldn't find how to do that. So I just got my pliers and just snipped those wires off, and I figured I could just peel the little bit back later and expose a bit more of the wires before I connect it to the new fitting. And maybe the first time around that I did this on my other lamp was a total fluke, but I am proudly showing you the replacement part that I bought at Bunnings that I thought I could chuck it on and call it a night. Basically, there are some little screws that hold the end of the wire to make contact with the other end where the light bulb goes, that makes the light turns on. So you expose the wires just a little bit and then you insert them into the holes and you tighten up the screws to make sure that everything's got lovely contact. I did all of that rewiring and I was pretty nervous to turn it on, and I was worried I was going to electrocute myself, and I had to do some little switching with the double switches, but hey presto, it works. Yes! I am currently watching videos while I do this, but hey look, it works. I'm pretty stoked. This is now the second lamp I've rewired in my life. She's a boss. Soon to be an electrician. No, and I will just say that, another disclaimer, if you are not confident with doing this, get a professional to do it. I am only confident because I have done my other lamp before, and I redid that more than 10 years ago and it hasn't busted since, so I had faith that I would be able to do this one. Also, this lamp originally comes with like a foot pedal sort of switch, and this is going to go to my sister, and I know that the place where she puts it in her house is that little foot pedal switch is going to be hard to access. So I'm kind of glad that I picked up this one because it's got the switch up at the fitting. So I'm stoked. Now I just have to figure out a way to get the lamp shade to fit onto this piece because they are different sizes. If you remember these lamps, then cool. I'm glad you watched that video. What I'm going to do is just show you the bit that I need from this lampshade. You see this little plastic bit? Kind of makes the whole lampshade collar smaller. And what I'm hoping is that this plastic bit will fit with this lampshade. So let's make them kiss. Let's see if it's going to work. I can't actually see, so let me look in here. Oh yeah, I think it might work. I hope it works. I hope it'll work. I really, really do. Okay, now, to get this off without breaking it could be a challenge. Can you see this? Can you see this? This is happening. Hey! Alright, does that fit back on there? It doesn't really work. That's not gonna work. It's really not gonna work. Nope. Okay, if that goes on there, then it's fine. So what I could do is actually just get a new lampshade for my sister, so she can have something fixed and something new for her birthday. I reckon that'll work. Ugh. We're jumping around on the timeline a little bit here, if only for my own benefit, to remember this very relaxing time that I had by myself up at the farm a couple of months ago now. For my Northern Hemisphere viewers, I'm not sure if it's the same for you, but in December in Australia, everything gets really hectic with the end of the year, with work deadlines, Christmas parties, lots of catching up with people and friends, and lots of family commitments. So I am here to remind myself that I need to breathe and that it's okay to take a little bit of time for yourself if you need it at this pretty hectic time of year. Overnight, the solvent had done its magic and brought up a little bit of the rust, which I tried to get off with some sandpaper, but I had to leave and come home though, and so this project went on the back burner for a little while. I got a little bit off with the sandpaper, and I actually did another round of the rust buster once I got home, but I didn't film it, sorry. I got my Amazon package. I ordered these things, discovered what they're called. They're called Lampshade washers. Came in a pack of 2. I thought that was wise in case I break one. Alright. Lampshade washer. And the idea is that it converts it from one side to the other side. I'm going to put this in here. Pop this guy in here, like I did with the other one last night. It's hard to do and also display for the purposes of YouTube. Oh, come on, get in there. Doubly thick in there. And this little ridge is not tall enough to get around all of that. I don't know how to solve this. Of course, something that I thought was going to be so easy is not easy at all. And I'm really annoyed. Really annoyed. This lampshade is just the wrong size. So I'm just going to have to go buy a new lampshade, I think. Fuck. And then after all my struggles with the lampshade for the red lamp, I decided to go back to the other lamp and see if I could just finish it off to give myself a little bit of a win. Some serious time had passed and this lamp had suffered out on the balcony. It had just been sitting there since I brought it back from the farm. I actually did another round of rust buster on it and got a little bit more rust off, which is good, but I forgot to film it. I used some steel wool to clean up some of the rust and other buildup, and then I also used some Brasso and WD-40 to sort of bring a bit of shine back into the solid brass bits, which is on the arms and those little fasteners. And I decided they were in good enough condition that I wasn't going to need to paint them. I thought I could do this for the base as well, but the condition of this metal was just a little bit too far gone, so I decided to paint the base and the shade part. So I wrapped them up in a plastic bag and some masking tape and finally got around to spray painting them with some shiny gold spray paint. I did only one very thin coat of paint on these bits because I wanted it to not look too polished and shiny, because the rest of it looks still a bit beat up and like a bit of more of a rustic vibe. In the meantime though, my husband loves his new lamp by the bed, and in future he might help me with doing a bit of a wash over the shiny gold bits just to dull down that shininess a little bit, to bring it more in harmony with the other parts that are less shiny and more rustic. Finally, as for the red and timber lamp, I discovered that the fitting is actually too large for the bit of rod that is sticking out of the top, so those two things can't really go together, which is very annoying. and I'm either going to need some really good glue or I'm going to need to get a different fitting. And so I'm just going to call it here that in this round of Steph versus Lamp, the lamp is like, they get a point because I didn't get through that. I think there is a place that I can buy it from in Queensland, but they are closed until the new year, and so I'm just gonna have to wait and see if I can get that fitting and hope that it fits onto the actual lamp itself. The conclusion of this video is that in the Steph versus Lamp stakes, in this video it's a score of 1-1 because I got one lamp finished and one lamp is still unfinished, and in the overall game it is Steph 2, Lamp 1, or maybe Steph 3, Lamp 1 if you count the first round of Steph versus Lamp as 2 lamps, because technically I did fix 2 lamps even though there were 2 lamps of the same style. I don't know, however you want to count it, I think I'm still up in Steph versus Lamp. Anyway, I hope you have a great Christmas, Christmaka, Hanukkah, Festivus, however you celebrate this time of year, and I will see you very, very, very soon in the new year.